Channel viewers, Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, speaking on the subject of emotional incest and empathy. Emotional incest and empathy. Now, what does that mean? Well, empathy is when somebody makes a complaint about you, or they're in a hard situation in life, or something of this nature, and you have the capacity or take the initiative to understand as best as you possibly can the way they feel in the situation that they're in. That's empathy. Now, you may not agree with what's going on. You may not fully understand what's going on. But empathy is acknowledging as best as you can the way somebody feels about something. When it comes to covert emotional incest, there are so many complex varieties and dynamics of ways in which it can come at an outsider, that if you don't know what it is, you do have entraining take place on your mind. Your mind will go into overtime examining where and why you're struggling the way you are. And this can be complex PTSD. It can turn into that. It can turn into a post-traumatic stress disorder, because you are stressing, trying to work out what the connection is, where the lack of connection is towards you with the person that you're with, and where the connection actually is, the extramaternal connection actually is between the family members. Now, bringing it to light is going to offend these people, but it's not to be. It's never presented in a way to offend. This is what these people don't understand. Like, where's their empathy? It's putting your hand up and saying, look, I'm trying to have a relationship with you. There's something not right, but it's going on here between you and your family members emotionally. It's detracting from the relationship I'm trying to have with you, and it doesn't need to be that way. If you put some boundaries in place, you can get along just as well with your family members and have a healthy relationship at the same time. Now, where's the empathy from the covert emotional incest people? You will not get it. You will not get the empathy. I'll tell you why. Because empathy requires resolve. True empathetic people that have made a genuine effort to understand what's happening to somebody else will find resolve. They won't ignore it. They won't go silent. They won't petty down to the person that's out of order. They will do everything in their maturity as an adult to try and bring a proper sound resolve that's unselfish and works for everybody involved. But emotional incest will not do it. I have not seen it do it once for an outsider yet. I've seen mothers try to carry on in the relationship and manage the out of order adult child. I've seen a couple of mothers try this, but neither have been successful. Neither. The thing too is, the more integral and moral you become, the more vocal you become about moral and being right in life and living a life that's to the benefit not only of yourself, but to those around you. People that don't like resolve will begin to diminish. They will begin to detract from the relationship, because they can only rise and cohabitate with people like this as far as their integrity and morality goes. And if their integrity and morality is not at the level that you're at, they will diminish. Now, this will play into the emotional incest, because now the person that you've tried to build a relationship with is diminishing. They're defaulting back to their level of life. This will bring you aggravation as well, and probably take you to the point where you go, I just cannot stand this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. Because these people psychologically diminish in their investment towards a relationship. They're not used to having people in their lives that know how to have a healthy relationship. They're used to having people that are on substances and that are letting them down all the time, and this makes them isolate themselves from the relationship. And they turn to their children, and of course, emotional incest is conceived and sustained through the dysfunction. But if you're at the point in your life where really, you're going on 60 like I am, I've got nothing to prove. I've done just about what all I want to do as far as work and everything's concerned. I've worked my fucking ass off. And some of these grub children, adult children, that can't even pay their bills or look after themselves properly, think they're going to get a reaction out of me. No. The only reaction you're going to get out of me is look at yourself, which will come in silence, because when you pull back from the attitudes and the dark triad micro-incremental attitudes that these people and lies that they bung on, not only is it going to aggravate them more, but they are going to get to the point where they've got to look at their dirty, filthy selves and their dirty, filthy minds and get off their perch. Life will snap them off the perch. And as I've said before, I'll leave it under the radar. I'll leave it. But push too hard and I'll bring it to light. I can bring a lot of shit to light. But it just doesn't change anything. So what's the point? These people are formed. They're domestically formed. They're culturalized to be mean and horrible in the way that they are. There's definitely, it's just irrespectable. You cannot respect it. You cannot waste your time on it. You don't even engage it. It's that petty and pitiful. And these poor women allow these children to pull them down. It's absolutely disgusting. It's abusing their children. I don't know what they think they're benefiting out of it, the parent. But I've tried to navigate these people with all their habits and medications and dope and shit and rubbish that they take. And it really is, I tell you, it's infantile. They're so infantile. They think they're fantastic because they can cook and whatever else, clean. Who can't cook and clean? Really? When I used to visit one particular woman, I cleaned a toilet, and the grandiose golden child thought it was a joke. Well, he wouldn't get down and fucking clean it himself. This is the contentions that you're up against with emotional incest. There's no empathy towards the outsider. It's hostility is the kindest thing you can hope for once it manifests. Enmity and hostility. And if you can live with that, you're a better person than I am. Because while you're stressing and your mind's trying to produce your person in a way in which it's going to benefit the other person, and the relationship and people's lives around you. These people are getting pissed and stoned like it's some kind of a joke. And then they wonder why you tell them to fuck off. Just fuck off. I've had enough of you. They blame you for their problems. That's what you're going to get from covert emotional incest and overt emotional narcissistic incest. These people are not capable of rising to a level in life that's going to sustain something positive for them, that brings an outcome for them that leaves an inheritance. They waste their money on goodness knows what. Who knows? I don't know. And I really don't care. I mean, if you're at the age of 30, 40, 50, and you've got nothing to show for yourself, it's over. Unless you think you can pull a rabbit out of the hat. Most of these people are insane. They keep doing the same things that bring the same losses. That's insanity. They don't develop. They watch people. I brought these women into my life and I showed them. It's so simple to succeed. Just be straight and everything will fall into place. No, one was a pillhead and went to marijuana, made a complete idiot of herself and just got kicked out of the marriage. Kicked out of the marriage. How embarrassing. Kicked out of a marriage. Right? These are supposed to be adult children. Adults. And they're turning to dope and grog. And I mean, I tell you, I've seen some absolutely woeful outcomes with these idiots. And then one pops up stoned off its head and thinks I'm going to, pat her on the back. You got to be fucking kidding me. There was more going on there than I was aware of. No, she got told to fuck off as well. Because you're trying to, you've gotten to a stage in life where there is nothing to prove. So why go below that? Why bring drugs and crap and garbage into a sanctuary that's not into that crap? Right? You're too embarrassed to have the person at your house because your petty little children can't cope. It's just, honestly, emotional incest will strip not only the people in it and the families in it of everything, it tries to strip you of your mentality and mind and mindset. And all it does is bring trouble. But when you got nothing to prove and you know what's going on around you, these people don't stand a chance. How do they think they're going to be of any influence or asset to someone that's just not living in that dimension? Once you tell them to fuck off, they're straight over the fence and frigging around with people like themselves. And they make life worse for themselves. Worse. And all you can do is spectate and live at the level that works. Exercise, good food, plenty of exercise, lots of work, and hobbies. Then, once you get fixed from the relationship, find another partner if you can, if you want to. At this point, I couldn't care less. I'm so disgusted with the performance of these women. I can't understand how these people can live with themselves. It's so bad. They're so self-unaware. Really, it's just disgraceful. I've got a $5,000 security system, gate system on my property for a damn reason. You let these people through that gate and they still can't work out, that there's an opportunity for them to be happy and content. They're living lies. They're teaching their adult children to lie. They're out in the community. Honestly, I just don't know what to say. I'm just gobsmacked with the mindsets and mentalities and the self-grandiosed delusions of these people that are just destroying everything they touch. They've got nothing to show for what they've done. The last thing I heard, the ex-wife was running around Thailand with a son. I mean, again, a person who doesn't pay his bills or anything, and they're running them around Thailand like it's a joke. Then on the other hand, they supply them drugs and alcohol and cigarettes and Christ knows what else, pay their bills for them. No, it's a mess out there. Don't you worry. That's why they don't want the fathers around, because the fathers will kick these little bastards up the arse. And it's everywhere. They're weak, they dob, they snob on each other, they abuse their mothers, the mothers abuse them with their martyr mentalities, and they all end up with nothing. There's no empathy. If there was empathy, you'd have a relationship, wouldn't you? But that's gone. They sent you round the bend. You'd had enough. You couldn't put up with these people anymore. The hostility, the rudeness, the arrogance, the self-centeredness, the drugs, the dysfunction. I've got nothing to prove. I've got nothing to prove, and I'll live by that. I've led by example. I've led by performance. And you'll never, ever, ever find me in another. You'll never, ever find me in another. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. Bye for now.